You're tuned in to Ask the Master Auto Technician. Car questions? Get answers right now. Call 850-763-0555.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.
Good morning, everybody. This is James Morris. Welcome to segment 2 of our Tuesday show. Every Tuesday. In the first part, I have Larry Walters from the Fair Tax Organization call. And then the second part, I have Rob Lapham. He's running for U.S. Congress, District 2, Gwen Graham's seat right now, being held by her. And it goes, it's the largest landmass, I understand, of the districts in Florida. It goes from the western edge of Bay County all the way down the city limits of Ocala, parts of Tallahassee, and it meanders over towards the Suwannee and down. And it is a large area. Rob, how you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing just terrific, James. How are you?
I'm doing very well. What is your goal here running for Congress here? I mean, have you been talking to people about what they'd like to see or hear from Congress?
I have. The meeting I had last week in Tallahassee, speaking to, it was a candidate forum. Mm-hmm. And my main thrust is everything that a congressperson should be doing must be directed towards cutting the budget. We spend far too much. We have, this year it's a $4 trillion budget. Heck, 7+ years ago, after outgoing Secretary Henry Paulson and incoming Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner said, this is the worst financial disaster since the Great Depression. And Emmanuel dumped $800 billion as shovel-ready projects on the budget. We came up with $3.5 trillion, biggest budget in the history of the United States, in the history of the world.
Right.
And here we are 7 years later with a $4 trillion budget, and nobody does anything about it. None of the candidates who are running for Congress will answer the question, what steps will you take to reduce this $4 trillion in spending? It has got to be the most important issue. And, James, I don't minimize many dozens of other issues. But if we don't get our spending under control, everything else we do is going to be irrelevant. Because we're going to go the way Greece is gone.
You're absolutely right. I think it was Samuel Adams, not the guy that makes the beer, but their namesake, Samuel Adams, who said that there's two ways to enslave a man, one by the sword and the other is by debt. And right now we're being enslaved by debt, whether we know it or not, because you become property of the person you owe money to. And we are, what is it, over $100 trillion in unfunded mandates that we're going to have to come up with. And we're adding to our debt every year by at least $1 trillion. This is unsustainable. That seems to be the buzzword, sustainability. This is not sustainable. You cannot keep going in debt expecting different results. Why does Congress not seem to realize that? Or is it because we don't care, or they don't care, or we keep re-electing them back into office? Is that what it is?
James, I think the main thrust in Congress is almost all the people who are there. They just want to get re-elected. And as we all know, it's a 2-year cycle.
Yeah.
They figure that they'll have cashed in, got their benefits, and be gone by the time the whole economy comes crashing down. And plus the fact that, of course, the people that help them get elected, lobbyists, special interest groups,
right.
It's a very expensive job running for Congress.
Yeah.
Our current Congresswoman, Gwen Graham, when she ran for office in 2014, she and her campaign spent $3.7 million to get that seat. Yeah. And it is amazing the amount of cash that flows into even a congressional race. I mean, we're all familiar with the phenomenal cost of a presidential race, but right down through Congress, and it is corrupt from top to bottom. Nobody who expects to be reelected to Congress today expects to be reelected based on what they're trying to do for the good of the American people or even for their constituents.
They have to work for the party.
It's a function of who is paying into their campaign treasury, and it's very, very unfortunate. But the original concept of a citizen's legislature looks to me like that's long gone now.
Well, I know that if you, when the first thing you congressmen do when they get into office is they have to start campaigning for their party. Their party puts them on the campaign trail where they start speaking. and they start talking about raising money, it's a never-ending job to campaign. According to Steve Sutherland, he says when he was congressman, he says you never stop campaigning. You never stop, because as soon as you get into office, you're up for re-election again in 2 years, and you have to qualify for it in another year and put your name on the ballot, so you never stop. And it's those special interest groups that you have there that are putting that money out in front of you. Here's your campaign money, do what we say. The only way we're going to stop that is to say no to special interest groups and lobbying, is to pull back the money. Or is it just going to take intestinal fortitude of Congress people to say, no, I'm not going to do that, like what Ron Paul did? They called him Dr. No because the lobbyists couldn't get to him. Is that what it's going to take? It's going to have to take people like Ron Paul who are principled, that will vote principle?
It is, and Dr. Paul was very fortunate, I think, and the strength of his convictions, that he was able to resist the pressure, even from the Republican National Committee and the Republican organization, to where he wasn't forced to go out and campaign the first minute he got there to office. For the rest of us, I think the only solution is just do not elect Republicans and do not elect Democrats to Congress, because as soon as they get there, they are subjected to these pressures from their own party to begin, as you say, speeches and campaigns towards re-election. It's all about money.
Oh, yeah.
And frankly, the only solution is to send a Libertarian to Washington and shake things up. That's the one thing that will get the attention of the Republican and the Democrat establishment in Washington, is to elect someone from a different party that causes them to realize that they no longer have a stranglehold on the politics of the matter.
Well, I think that's exactly what you see happening in the Bernie Sanders campaign. He's not a Democrat, but he's running on the Democratic ticket. He's an independent from Vermont. And I think that's one of the things that's upsetting the Democratic Party the most, is he actually speaks from a different point of view, not from their point of view. And it upsets them, and the same thing that Donald Trump does. It upsets the Republicans because he doesn't follow their playbook, and but he will. We know he will. And that's just how it works. But I think putting a Libertarian in office would also, as a president, would send a message as well. And right now we have a very strong chance of actually doing that. I have a lot of people say, well, there's a snowball chance in hell a Libertarian can be elected president. You know what? I think there is a very strong chance people are mad as hell and they're not going to take it anymore about who we're putting up for office. I mean, the Republicans have put up losers every year since Bob Dole and before that. I mean, we keep putting losers up, the Republicans did. The Democrats keep putting up people that I'm going like, where in the heck did these people come from? And I think the only sane people are people like you, the Libertarians. We're actually the grown-ups in the room. We're actually the ones that are saying, hey, are you not paying attention to our debt? Are you not paying attention to our foreign policy? Are you not paying attention to where we're going in the world? We're going down the drain as fast as possible, rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, and we're not addressing the real problems. I think we need an adult, and that's one of the reasons I support you to run for for U.S. Congress, as your treasurer, and I wish a lot of other people would contribute to your campaign. Because it takes money. Right now we have signs here. I have yard signs at James Auto Center for Rob Lapham for U.S. Congress. And if they'd like to come by, all they got to do is show me their LPF. They're a member of the Libertarian Party of Florida, and I'll give them a sign. And if they want to make a donation, they can make a donation to Rob Lapham, for U.S. Congress. Any problems with that, Rob?
None at all. The website is open, robforcongress.org. And contributions are gratefully accepted.
Yeah, because
James, you mentioned we hope, at the presidential level that there'll be a change this year. The important thing there is that at the end of this month, May the 29th, I believe it is,
right?
And we know it's in Orlando, the National Libertarian Convention, when the Libertarian nominee for president will be selected. And at that point, hopefully some of the press that is lavished on the old party's candidates will be supplanted by a promotion of what the Libertarians are offering. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, there's supposed to be another televised event between the top three, between Austin Peterson, Gary Johnson, and McAfee. They're supposed to be and it's going to be hosted by Penn Jillette, Penn and Teller. he is going to be doing, read about it last night, there's going to be another nationwide televised debate between those three. We had the one on John Stossel a few weeks ago, and people are asking right now, we have people people are leaving the Republican and Democratic Party and joining the Libertarian Party in droves, and the reason is like I said, we seem to be the adults in the room. And that's the only thing, that's what they've told me. So at least you're not crazy like I thought y'all were. Y'all actually have a sound plan, and we need to get this country under control and get out of debt, stop these crazy unconstitutional wars, and bring our soldiers and sailors home and protect us from our government. And I'm hearing a lot of people say the same thing. They're more worried about their government than they're worried about Al Qaeda.
Right, and I saw the same or a similar release that you did, James, on the second debate. But what I saw was that Governor Johnson and John McAfee had not yet agreed to participate, and so I'm wondering how this is going to shake out if Austin Peterson and some of the other candidates are appearing, and two of the leading candidates are not. Well, Peterson is also, but I'm really interested to see who it is that agrees to participate in that debate.
Well, we'll find out, but it's a lot of things up in the air right now, but I know on the 31st or 29th of May, we are having our national convention in Orlando, Florida, at the Rosen Hotel. I will be there. My wife will be there as delegates. You will be there. And we'll be electing who our nominee for Libertarian Party is. And a lot of people like Gary Johnson. A lot of people like Austin Peterson. A lot of people like John McAfee. Some people, I'm sitting there going, wow, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting what's going to be happening. We got people that have run governors. We have people that have put organizations together. And we have people that have put running for office that has the largest software company, McAfee, I think I'm saying it right, he had the antiviruses, but someone said we may need someone like him because future wars will not be fought with bullets and guns, but may be fought with computers. And he keeps talking about that we may have a crisis, a world crisis, with computers causing the actual demise of our economy. Have you heard anything like that?
Well, it doesn't surprise me. Certainly, he's qualified to offer some opinions in that respect. And bottom line, James, nobody could possibly do worse than the two leading candidates from the Democrat and the Republican parties for president. Good point. Worse than things get.
Good point. Very good point. It can't be any worse than what we have right there. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Rob, but I want to let people know we do have signs here for Rob Lapham for U.S. Congress, District 2. If you want to come by James Auto Center, just show us your LPF card that you registered with the Libertarian Party of Florida, and we'll give you one. If you come in here and say, I'm a registered Republican, that don't count. Got to go change your voter registration, and we'll give you one of these yard signs. And we'd love a donation to Rob for Congress. As well, if you can prove it, anything you can offer, and I'll take it and give you a receipt. And I'm also his treasurer, so you don't have any problems if I collect money for you, do you, Rob?
So absolutely. I didn't think you would. All the money that's offered.
I figured you'd say that. All right, hey, this is James Morris along with Anna Marie Morris. It's Tuesday morning. We got to go. We'll see y'all Wednesday morning. Rob, we'll talk to you next Tuesday. And everybody, remember, keep it safe, keep it between the lines out there, and vote Libertarian this November. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye now.
James Auto Center, we fix it right.